Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of 1998 Represent. Today, we're taking a look at Hello Nasty by the Beastie Boys, released July 14th, 1998. It's their fifth studio album. I think they've released 8. The quick list here. So, their first one is License to Ill, followed by Paul's Boutique, then Check Your Head, Ill Communication, Hello Nasty, and after this album, we have 2 to 5 Boroughs, The Mix-Up, and Hot Sauce Committee Part 2. In Hot Sauce Committee Part 2, we check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so 8 total studio albums. This is their fifth. Came out, like I said, came out in July of 1998. I have some notes here. I bought it in early November 1998. I remember coming down and going to a mall that day and went to a Sam Goody. I picked up this album, Alanis Morissette's second album, because that had come out like very recently. Like this was released in July, but I bought it in November. Alanis Morissette's second album, I think, came out in early November or something like that. And along with that, I bought these Lab Tech headphones. I remember somebody in high school having these headphones, and these are the Lab Tech LT830s. I've retrofitted these since then. These were awesome headphones back in 1998. However, like in 2012 or so, I noticed that they had they just weren't as good. This like sound was very muffled. It was very quiet. So I cut the power cord off, which was right here. Not power cord. The connector cord, I guess. And I installed these Skull Candy headphones into it. These are supposed to go into like a Skull Candy like hoodie or something like that, where you have the hood and they're in the ears and you can turn them on and off. I had those and no way to really use them, so I had those for a couple years before that because I think I got them at like a Christmas party or something, and just retrofitted them that way. So bought those headphones, bought Alanis Morissette's second album and this album, and that same day I went to I was at a Sam Goody in a mall. Went to a KB toy store or KB Toys and bought WCW versus NWO Revenge. We'll definitely be doing a video for that. We'll probably be doing a video for Alanis Morissette's second album later in this series as well. But I remember coming home and I couldn't decide, do I want to listen to the Beastie Boys album or play WCW versus NWO Revenge? And my stereo, which I still have, has I don't know what the size is. It's the larger of the headphone connections, because these had a detachable plug. So it was a regular headphone jack, but you could put it into the back of the larger connector and use it in the stereo. So I did that, plugged it in, started playing the video game with no music, no sound, listening to the album. So it was like a really interesting experience listening to this album while playing that wrestling video game. Again, we'll be doing a video definitely on that game and probably on the Alanis Morissette album as well. Let's see here. I bought it basically just off of Intergalactic. I remember seeing the music video for it, and my friends in high school also then recommended that the album was really good. I remember we were going to, at some point, friends and I wanted to do an airband. We did an airband earlier in the year, being the end of my junior year, which was the beginning of 1998, and we won that. We won it off of Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight. It was an awesome experience. And we were talking about the follow-up one, which we were potentially going to do Intergalactic, and I think one of my friends didn't want to do it because he didn't want to. He's like, there's no way I'm going to get on stage in the auditorium wearing dish gloves or something like that. And I think we were going to then maybe try to do Intergalactic and then go into 3 MCs and 1 DJ. We never, those plans never materialized, unfortunately. So I think that fall's airband contest, I ended up doing like Kung Fu Fighting, which was something that we had discussed before that, and they had never done it. So like they were like, well, that would be a good one to do, and then they ended up not doing it. So I just did it on my own. But back to the album here. So we have multiple genres featured in this. I know Beastie Boys are known for their rap rock style, especially off their first album, like songs like No Sleep Till Brooklyn. You've got excellent drumming and excellent guitar work on there. A lot of their other stuff has kind of more rock sensibilities as well. And then in this album, they went even further into the like various genres. There's like reggae and like one of the songs is very like almost like a lounge song and so on. It's definitely one of their more, I guess, ambitious is maybe the one of the ambitious albums where we're trying just experimenting with other genres. I have the Wikipedia page up here. It has a excerpt from a review of it about the multiple genres. So I guess it was named is let me see. From Entertainment Weekly, David Brown highlighted the album's multi-genre sound as its most engaging aspect. And the quote from the article is, Hello Nasty is a sonic smorgasbord in which the Beasties gorge themselves with reckless abandon. They dabble in lounge pop kitsch, the loser put down song, or loser put down, quote, song for the man, make like a summit of Santana and Traffic with the Latin flavored song for Junior, and subtly incorporate a drum and bass shuffle into the mix with flow and prose. It says the mileage makes for a looser, more free-spirited record that their earlier albums. The music invites you in rather than threatening to shut you out. So it's all very, very much multiple genres that are, you know, like on display here. Multiple genres. Got that on. One of my favorite things with older rap, I guess like more like Sugar Hill Gang, Run DMC, Beastie Boys are in this group as well, where it's just there's like excellent lyricism and it's more about like having fun, I guess, or it takes you back to when rap was fun. I think rap for me lately hasn't been as much fun, but there is some like some modern stuff I do like. I do like Kendrick Lamar and that kind of music. However, like a lot of I kind of took a disinterest in rap once it became kind of more not fun. Even though it's kind of weird because I was like into gangster rap as well at the time with like Dr. Dre and like Snoop Dogg and stuff. But I definitely like the more kind of like playful rap that the Beastie Boys provide, as well as like other artists like Run DMC, Sugar Hill Gang, Grandmaster Flash, and so on. So the lyricism in the excellent is our album is excellent, and then I have just a list of some of my favorite lyrics. I'm going to pull this up here from some of these songs. We're going to go through this in order, representing not necessarily representing every song because some of the songs are like straight up just instrumental. Some of them are going to be like kind of like more traditional sounding songs. Let me put this notes over here. Going to just get up and get this set up. So in Super Disco Breakin', one of my favorite lines is, I like pins and needles and words that sting. At the blink of an eye, I'll do my thing. It's like a needle in the needle in the cartridge when the record spins. I like digging down deep in the record bins. Next song is The Move. One of my favorite bits from that song is, I don't mean to brag, I don't mean to boast, but I'm intercontinental when I eat French toast. And I remember reading somewhere on in a Sugar Hill Gang song, I forget the song, but they mentioned another thing where it says, don't mean to brag, don't mean to boast, but we like hot butter on our breakfast toast. It's like kind of like almost like, I think you were like taking that from like a Dr. Seuss book or something like that. But it was kind of like a throwback to that Sugar Hill Gang song, and then also changing it up just a little bit. Next up, we have Remote Control, and one of my favorite bits from this one is we got cameras on Mars on Space Patrol, control on Earth by remote control. That one isn't one of my favorite songs on the album, but that lyric was actually pretty interesting. Song for the Man, it's not really any like rap in that. It's more like just like a lounge song. In song number 5, which is Just a Test, it says it's like fudge and caramel, they're not the same, and it's a shame. And it's a shame that all your talk is game. So like that one. Body Movement is the next song. The lyric is, flame on, I'm gone, I'm so sweet like a nice bonbon. Came out rapping when I was born. Mom said rock until the break of dawn. So just kind of very old school sounding lyrics, I guess. Next, in the next part of that same song, it's and add rock, light up the place. And if you pull my card, you pull the ace. And if you ask me, turn up the bass. And if you play Defender, I could be your hyperspace. And because I know that's based on the controller layout or layout of the arcade game Defender, and the hyperspace button is kind of far away. So like, if you're playing with somebody else, it can actually just be your hyperspace. So it's kind of like a cool thing because you do have to take your hand off the fire button to actually use that. Next up, Intergalactic, probably the most well-known song off the album. One of their best songs, as in my opinion as well. Lyric is Jazz and AWOL, that's our team. Step inside the party, disrupt the whole scene. When it comes to beats, I'm a fiend. I like my sugar with coffee and cream. I just like that wordplay where they flip it around the coffee and cream. Like usually, I like my coffee with sugar and cream. It's like I like my sugar with coffee and cream. So, just a really interesting wordplay. Another interesting part or good lyric from this particular song is, "If you try to knock me, you'll get mocked. I'll stir fry you in my walk, and your knees will start shaking and your fingers pop like a pinch on the neck from Mr. Spock." Like that was the first time I think I remember hearing like a Star Trek reference in a rap song. You probably wouldn't necessarily be looking for it there, but again, that kind of goes to the point of just the lyrics being fun, basically. We have "Sneaking Out the Hospital," which is the next song. That's mostly instrumental, so there's no lyrics really in that one. Next up is "Putting Shame in Your Game," and the lyric I like in this one, it's, "Well, I'm the king of Boggle, there is none higher. I get 11 points off the word quagmire." So, like, I didn't have to look this up because I guess Boggle, obviously, the word dice, like the letters are on dice basically. You shake it up and then you are connecting the words, and the most points you can get on any word is 11 points, and it's for words that are 8 letters or longer. So quagmire being an 8-letter word, gets 11 points. Just really interesting kind of like references, stuff like that. Next up we have flow and prose. And the lyric I like in this one is, "I'm flowing prose to cons and cons to pros. I'm like Toucan Sam when I follow my nose." Again, just silly kind of wordplay, and not really wordplay, but like references to like basically in this case Toucan Sam, the Fruit Loops mascot. Next up we have "And Me." And it says, "Oh my God, now take a look at me. My lifeline's run by AT&T. Got their wires all up in me. It's push and pull the way it's got to be." And then one of my favorite bits in any Beastie Boys song is at the end of the song, there's a guy who's like, "I would like to be outside playing basketball in the rain and not get wet," or like something like that. 3M Season 1 DJ, just a very simple line. It's like, "Sweet and sour like a tangerine, fresh like a box of Krispy Kreme." And at that point, I don't think Krispy Kreme had kind of like blown up yet. They've been around since like the 30s, but I think this was kind of like when they were getting kind of like national attention, or at least starting to. I remember there were like when they opened up them kind of locally, there was just people like waiting like hours in line to get these donuts. I think that was a couple years after this album came out, but just an interesting kind of thing there. Next up is the Grasshopper Unit, "Keep Moving." It says, "For all of y'all that be dozing, or on hone blowers, lederhosen, like Walt Disney, he is frozen." And it's almost, you can hear the Beastie Boys like laughing when they're almost like when they're trying to do the Walt Disney line. I don't know if it's like if they edit it to make it sound like that, but it sounds like they were just recording that and were just like having a blast singing it, because it does sound like they're like about to start laughing when they sing that line. Next is a song for Junior. That's mostly just an instrumental. I don't know is more just, that's song 15 is more just a traditional song. Song 16 we have the Negotiation lyric file, and lyric is, "I love it when you hit those switches. A curveball is what my pitch is. So here we go. So here we come. Like dum diddy dum. I keep all 5 boroughs in stitches." Obviously a reference to New York City and the 5 boroughs there. 17 is "Electrify." The lyric is, "It's not the sorrow or the pity that we hope to dismantle. It's just the cast of past dice lighting both ends of the candles." So some nice little wordplay there, interesting stuff there. A picture of this is more just a traditional song, so there's not a whole lot of like rap in that particular part of it. It kind of just speaks to the fact that the album does have, like rap songs as well as just more traditional sounding songs that are like you wouldn't really expect from the Beastie Boys at that point. At 19 we have "Unite," and it says, "Going off the hook like Latrell Sprewell. I've got ill technique, so you know me well." And Latrell Sprewell, I think like the NBA season before, got suspended for like a ton of games for like choking his coach. 19 is "Dedication." There's not really a lot of lyrics to it. It's just mostly them just referencing like places that are like, "This is to my people in this city or this city." Not really favorite songs on the thing. And then 21 we have "Dr. Lee PhD," which is more just a kind of like a reggae sounding song. And then song 22 is "Instant Death," which is the final song of the album, and it's more just a traditional song. I guess I think it was 2009, they re-released this album with an entire other disc, like of remixes and some other stuff. I'm only using the original CD for this particular video, but the deluxe edition does have a lot of really cool stuff on it, some really good remixes, and just some other kind of like interstitial parts to that to that album. I think it was 2009 is when that one came out. And I don't know where I rank this in the Beastie Boys discography. It's definitely like one of my favorites. I know everybody or a lot of people say Paul's Boutique is like their best. I don't know where I rank that currently. My favorites, at least for now, are this one. Their first one is just like licensed. Licensed to Ill is really good. Ill Communication is also excellent. So, and then Paul's Boutique is really good as well. It's a little bit different, but it definitely does have that. That's kind of like what a lot, like every ranking on that I've read for their album rankings has Paul's Boutique at number one. Like I said, I like Paul's Boutique, but I need to definitely, like, I haven't listened to it in a while, so I definitely need to go through and listen to that one again, and then maybe come up with like a proper ranking for those albums, because they do have 8 albums. I do think after this one, like I like 2 to 5 Boroughs was all right. I didn't love it, and then they did a album called The Mix Up, which is all instrumental, which was pretty good, but it was like again just beats and stuff like that. But it was like a really good instrumental album. And then I think it came like Hot Sauce Committee Part 2 came out, but I definitely think this is kind of Hello Nasty was kind of the turning point. I think to where like I think most of their subsequent albums just weren't as good. They're still pretty good, but they weren't as good as this one. This is kind of like, I think, their last, like, really good album. But that's just kind of my opinion on it. And that's going to do it for this episode. We're going to be doing some other videos for the series. I have a list of stuff upcoming. We're probably going to be talking about Wild Things, and there's something about Mary at some point. Probably some more albums as well. I have some stuff kind of like lined up already, so like hopefully we'll have those out pretty soon as well. But that's going to do it for now. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thanks again for watching. Have a good one, and take care.